My name is Brett Bouchy. I am 20 years old. I'm from Gilbert, Arizona, and I am a college dropout. Man, working on a few different things right now. I have about 15,000 people in my organization for Rippling right now, which is a startup that's still happening right now. Helped co-found emerging entrepreneurs, which I'm pretty excited about. I got a bunch of little ventures, but those two mainly are going to be the ones that I'm really focusing in on this year. You know, with emerging entrepreneurs, I think the biggest thing is defining your why whenever you start a company, what your clear vision is and why you're doing it. If you can't articulate why people are going to buy, no one's going to buy anything. And a lot of people are afraid of asking people to buy stuff that they create. And my perspective is everyone should win whatever you buy. So with emerging entrepreneurs, our goal is to challenge the status quo that the only way to get an education is through college. And rather, maybe you implement in businesses and you go and start your own things and you go do things that you're passionate about. And that's something I'm personally really passionate about. And we're very clear in terms of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish with ED, with emerging entrepreneurs. And because of that, I don't feel like I'm ever working. And it's something I love to do, and I'm up till 2 or 3 in the morning. Like you're saying, to have a single focus on something, have a clear direction of where you want to go with that, and not being scatterbrained and having hundreds of ideas with these apps or these companies that you're going to start, and to actually solely focus on it, because it's not fun all the time. It really isn't. There are times where you are straight grinding. You're up doing things that you don't enjoy with the templates on the websites and all this, customer support. But at the end of the day, whenever you're able to articulate that why, that's what's going to keep you up at night, and that clear vision of why your company deserves to succeed. Yeah, I would say attention span, especially us being in college. So many of us, and especially me in high school, I had all these freaking ideas of all these things I was going to do. And for me to be able to get rid of the ADD syndrome, I really do have ADD, but to be able to focus on one particular thing and go, I'm going to go in this direction, I'm going to bite the bullet, this is something I'm passionate about, I'm going to go for it. That's been difficult for me. I think that's difficult for a lot of high school, college students, to go in one direction and get past the cheap victories. And that was something I struggled with. And so most people, they have business concepts. And that's totally fun, whether it be an app concept. Every single friend I know has an app concept. Who doesn't have an app concept? But to actually put that into fruition and go and implement, no one's willing to do it because it actually takes hard work. So with me, I had, if you go through my Facebook threads in high school, I would talk to my friends and I probably had 20 business plans. None of them ever got done because I would take the cheap victory and talking about it. Yo, bro, how cool is this tank top clothing idea? And they go, oh, Brett, it's so awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah. We'd high five each other, we'd have a blast, and I would take these cheap victories. In the effect of people would go, whoa man, Brett's really productive, he's coming up with all these business ideas. I made no money off of it. So in a sense, I wasted a ton of time talking, and that's a big, it says in Proverbs, mere talk leads to poverty. And that's exactly where I ended up. Yeah, I got all these cheap victories by my friends telling me I'm really productive and I'm awesome, but I made no money. And so that was the correlation. Money talks, nothing else does. And so that was key for me to get, is that you have to ring the cash register. So that was big. Yeah, it's incredibly important. Malcolm Gladwell talks about 10,000 hours. To become a master at something, you have to spend 10,000 hours doing it. And I started adding up the time, 24 hours. Now, obviously, we're not going to work 24 hours a day, but it helped me realize to become a successful entrepreneur that actually knew what he was doing. This was going to take me years. And I'm still not emerged as an entrepreneur. I'm still in the process of that. Right. And so staying focused on where I'm going, how I'm doing it, time is the most crucial thing. We can't get it back. That's true. All of us our entire lives have heard about, our parents have told us, enjoy your time now because you're not going to have it. It's true. For me at 18, 19, I came to the realization I want kids in my family someday. So these 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it might be 2 years, I might be married and have kids. I'm going to be locked into a lifestyle, so to know, I might have 700 days until I have a family. I'm not going to have the time freedom that I have right now to go out and produce and do those things. So it's really crucial, and it's hard. It's, not a lot of high school, college students are thinking about that. I'm going to be married, I'm going to have kids. But once that happens, you're locked in. And so that's why time's so important to me. Yeah, I watched a Simon Sinek. This is what really changed my perspective on my why. There's a Simon Sinek video called "Start with Why." It talks about what's going to separate you as an individual. What's going to make you out. Everyone likes to say, you know, especially as guys, as alpha males, oh yeah, I'd outwork you any day of the week, or I'll freaking lift more, I'll do all this, and it's all talk. But what's going to really separate you? It has to be more than just money. Money's a byproduct of character and things that you truly want and desire. So for me, I realized, you know, I grew up and there were times where my parents had an incredible amount of money and there was times when we had no money. And it was funny because some people look at me and say, Brett, you're really money hungry. And people hate on me and tell me all these things, and that's totally okay. But the funny thing is, I've had millions of dollars in my family. I've eaten top ramen literally 5 nights a week, 7 days a week. And what I realized is in that state of poverty, every decision I ever made was revolved around money. And so for me, I don't want my children to ever have to make a decision around money. I want them to go after what they want to do purely on passion. My kid wants to be a hipster and go to France and paint pictures. Hell yeah, go for it, 100%. If he wants to be an entrepreneur, I want to be able to provide the seed money. If he wants to go to Harvard, go to Harvard. I don't want my children to ever have to worry about money. And the same thing with my wife. I want her, if she wants to work, awesome, thumbs up, go for it. But I don't want money to ever have to be an issue for her. I mean, the toughest decision is implementing and knowing when it's time to scrap an idea. I mean, all of us have so many great ideas, and they are great ideas at the end of the day. But there's a multitude of reasons why it might not work. Might not have the connections, might not have the capital, maybe the market's not there. And so for me, to be able to take an idea and go, it's just scrap it, just to go, you know what, maybe not a great idea right now, and just to let go of it and then move on. That's probably been that's been one of the tougher decisions to be able to make, and just let go of an idea so you can move on to the next thing so you're not beating a dead horse. I think it's funny as an entrepreneur, you look at the most simple things down to an outlet. I learned this from my uncle who's also an entrepreneur, he's a millionaire. And he told me, he brought me to an outlet one time. He said, Brett, look at that outlet. I said, all right, I'm looking at it. He's like, someone's a millionaire from that outlet. As an entrepreneur, what you do is you spot where value is lacking and you fill it. Now that can be in the form of an outlet, that can be a toilet seat, that can be a Lego table, that can be an organization to help college students become entrepreneurs. It literally can be anything, but what's so fun about being an entrepreneur is literally taking something like where there's no value and filling it. So it's so different. You're always thinking outside of the box and every little intricacy of going to eat lunch, and you're looking at the utensils, you have a different way of viewing the world. And I think that's what's so fun is you get to be so creative. I'd say favorite book right now would be Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And getting an understanding what it looks like. So many people, we heard when we were younger, you are who you hang out with. And like, yeah, whatever, like, sounds good. And how important truly environment is to surround yourself with people like you who are ambitious, that actually want to go and make something happen, rather than a lot of my friends who are stoners going out and partying, which, that's what an average college student wants to be right now. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to be an average college student. So I should surround myself with people like that. And it's not, not in a pretentious way, it's just, if you want to be successful, you got to surround yourself with successful people. And that's the biggest thing I've learned from that book, is creating an environment to succeed, and people that will call you on your bullshit and go, oh, come on, man, like, it's Friday night, let's go work, or let's go do this. And maybe, and as you watch them, you become more motivated because, iron sharpens iron, and you get competitive. And whenever you see another college student doing more than you can either do two things. You can go, well, man, he's really ambitious. Actually, you can do three things. You can go, man, he's ambitious. You go, I hate that kid because he's pretentious. Or you can outwork him. And I just choose outwork every time because I respect people, but at the same thing, I realize that there's nothing different between me and you, or whoever's watching this. Realize that there's no different than anyone that you're watching on these videos. It's just a matter of creating better habits.
Right.
That's all it is. There's no more talent. There's no more skill set. It's just we have better habits. And as I'm growing and as I'm expanding my network, I'm realizing that there's a lot of other college students that have better habits than me. And so picking those up and running with them. So it's been really cool for me. Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of reading, Yeah, I wasn't a big reader.
Yeah.
But the second that you read something, you can implement it. And I mean, like, I love The Great Gatsby, really fun. Not much you can implement on that. But in terms of Start With Why by Simon Sinek or Outliers, but with Malcolm Gladwell, you can immediately see income coming. And I promise you, when you read something and you see income generated from it, you will never put down a book. Because it's one thing to be told you have to read a book, and then all of a sudden, whenever it's a matter of you becoming successful, it's just like anything else in life. You know, if you want to go play sports, you're going to start lifting, you're going to start practicing, and that's what it is wisdom is so crucial. There isn't a ton of original ideas anymore. It's all wisdom that's been gained from a multitude of people, and you bring it into one mind, and no one really reinvents the wheel anymore. They just kind of tweak the wheel. And that's all I'm trying to do is I try to pick up wisdom from other people that have done it. I learn from other people's mistakes through readings, through movies, through documentaries, and I tweak little things that I see is lacking value. So none of the ideas are originally mine. That's the best thing I've learned, is steal wisdom. Steal wisdom 100%, because why go learn from mistakes that you're gonna make? Why not go learn from someone else and expedite the process? I'd say the first thing is really create a why. What's going to separate you from the other guy? There's a lot of college students out there that want to go start businesses, and you know, and the reasoning behind it. There's nothing wrong with wanting money. That's why I started as an entrepreneur. I want to freaking work. I mean, who wants to work? It's not fun. But that and the biggest thing is speed of implementation. So many of us want to get things perfect. We want to get the perfect capture page, the perfect website, the perfect this, the perfect that. And we spend so much time perfecting that we don't even create anything. And that's the funny thing, is we have these perfect concepts and these perfect $1 million ideas, and they never come to fruition because there's zero implementation. So my advice would be to go put something out that's sloppy. Most people say, no, yeah, perfect. No, you should probably see if there's a market for it first. And just like me, whenever I have a business idea, so much gets implemented in 72 hours, I either scrap the idea or I create it as a business. Because there's a good chance, people tell me, 9 out of 10 businesses fail. All right, let's find 10 businesses. How fast can we find 10 businesses? So if I'm able to create 10 businesses really quickly and find out which one is going to be successful, I'm going to run with that one business. But most kids would rather spend 8 to 12 months seeing if it's a good idea or not. So that's it. I feel pretty good, guys. I'm pretty stoked. So, awesome, man.